It's no secret that red meat is associated with heart disease, but can it cause cancer as well? In this video, I'm going to be giving you some of the latest scientific facts so that you can be confident about how much and which types of red meat are the least harmful for you to eat if you're trying to beat or prevent cancer. There's a ton of conflicting and false information online and in social media from people who try to voice their opinions without having any legit scientific evidence to back them up. The most important things to consider about eating red meat are the type of meat, how it's cooked, and how much you're eating. Something interesting is that on the American Cancer Society website, it states, quote, avoid or limit eating red meat such as beef, pork, and lamb, and processed meats such as bacon, sausage, deli meats, and hot dogs. That's kind of vague, right? To be honest, the way this is worded is not very accurate. What it should say is that you should completely avoid processed meats like bacon, sausage, deli meats, or hot dogs, which I'll get into more in a minute, and you should limit non-processed red meats like beef, pork, or lamb. The latest recommendation is to limit your red meat consumption to no more than 3 portions per week. Personally, I still think that's a bit much, and it will likely change in the future once more research has been done. But anyways, the problem is that the majority of people misinterpret portion size. A single serving of red meat is only supposed to be 3 to 4 ounces. But have you ever seen a restaurant only serve a 3 to 4 ounce steak? No. People would complain that they're still hungry and they'd go out of business. So to put this into perspective, if you have a 6-ounce steak or hamburger, that one meal alone should account for 2 of the 3 portions of red meat you're allowed that week. Since I'm going to be talking a lot about carcinogens, I just want to clarify that a carcinogen is basically something that has the ability to cause cancer in humans. The World Health Organization created 4 groups or classifications that carcinogenic or potentially carcinogenic products fall into based on the level of certainty that they cause cancer according to the latest scientific research. The food and beverages in Group 1 are 100% known carcinogens, meaning they can directly cause cancer in humans and are recommended to be avoided completely. Along with alcohol and tobacco, processed meats are considered Group 1 carcinogens. Examples are wieners, cold cuts, corned beef, beef jerky, cured ham, bacon, sausage, pepperoni, and basically any meat that's been processed through salting, curing, fermentation, smoking, or any process that's used to enhance the flavor or improve preservation. You see, processed meat is preserved with cancer-causing nitrates or nitrites, which are added to preserve the color of the meat and allow it to have a longer shelf life. The ingredients added during this process are what will increase your chances of getting cancer, mainly bowel and stomach cancer. I mean, obviously cancer doesn't happen overnight, nor by eating the occasional sausage or hot dog, but since anything in the Group 1 category is recommended to be avoided completely, I would highly recommend that you do so, especially as a cancer survivor. Now, Group 2 carcinogens are things that are likely to cause cancer when consumed regularly and should be limited and consumed only in moderation. So, non-processed red meats, like fresh cuts of meats that you would find at the grocery store, are classified as Group 2 carcinogens. And this is because they are likely to cause cancer when consumed regularly, but the exact cellular mechanisms of how they may lead to cancer are still under investigation and more research needs to be done. However, we do know that when red meat is charred, smoked, or cooked to be well done, certain chemicals are formed that create byproducts in the body that cause DNA damage, which can then lead to cancer. So instead of barbecuing, deep frying, or even pan frying red meat, opt for healthier cooking methods like baking or broiling. Try switching things up with a variety of different types of protein like chicken, turkey, fish, beans, lentils, nuts, and tofu. And if you are used to eating processed meats, my advice would be to cut them out completely, starting today. Here are a few tips on how to cut back on your red meat consumption. In your pasta sauce, replace half the meat you'd typically use with finely chopped veggies like carrots, celeries, mushrooms, or tofu, or a combination. When making burgers, use ground turkey or chicken instead of beef. Or for a vegetarian option, use black beans or mushrooms and quinoa. You can also try adding beans and lentils to your salads, soups and stews for protein, and to make them more filling. And to cut out processed meats, try swapping out cold cuts in your sandwiches for roasted chicken or turkey or even tuna, and choose chicken or vegetable toppings on your pizza instead of pepperoni or bacon. If you're really adventurous, you can even try eating vegan meats like Beyond Meat. I personally love Beyond Meat products because they taste really good, and they have the same texture and appearance as red meat, But as far as taste goes, I find they taste much better than most other vegan meats. Their vegan ground beef is great in tacos, and their vegan sausages are amazing in a breakfast scramble with eggs, hash browns, and peppers. If you're used to eating bacon with your eggs, try making an omelet with veggies and cheese instead. There are so many ways to avoid eating processed meats. You just have to find alternatives that will satisfy you and not leave you feeling deprived. I mean, you may miss it at first, but once you're used to eating the healthier alternatives, you won't even miss it, I promise. Although there are several benefits to a vegetarian diet, it's extremely important as a cancer survivor to make sure you're eating enough protein to prevent muscle loss, maintain your strength during and after cancer treatment, and to support your healing. And I'm not saying you can't get enough protein as a vegetarian, it's just a bit more difficult if you're not used to it. To get an estimate of how much protein you personally need to eat on a daily basis, I've included a link in the video description below for a protein calculator. It's different for everyone because it's based on your weight, height, and how active you are. If you do consume red meat, try to opt for lean ground beef or anything with the word loin in it, like sirloin, tenderloin, or pork loin, as those are better options than, say, prime rib, ribeye steak, or spare ribs. Dairy products are also amazing sources of protein, like cheese, Greek yogurt, which is higher in protein than other types of yogurt, milk, and eggs. And soy products can often be high in protein as well, and they are safe for all cancer patients. It was once thought that soy should be avoided by people with hormone-driven cancers, like certain types of breast cancer, for example, but more recent studies are showing that it is in fact safe for all cancer patients to eat. I have another video which explains this more in detail, which I'll also link in the description below. Lentils and beans are also great sources of vegetarian protein, but include a bonus of fiber. A lot of people don't like the texture of beans or lentils, myself included, but I find that if I puree them and add them to soups or stews, they're a lot more tolerable. We can't forget about nuts, which are also packed with protein, so try to find an all-natural peanut butter or almond butter to put on your whole grain toast or whole wheat crackers. Whole grains also contain protein, with oatmeal being one of the best sources. I have an amazing recipe for overnight oats. It's not my recipe, but I'll link that in the description below as well. And last but not least, smoothies are a simple way of getting all the nutrients your body needs, including protein, with things like Greek yogurt, protein powder, or nut butters, which can all easily be added in. Start with a base of milk, fruit, Greek yogurt, and protein powder. Then you can add in anything from spinach or avocado to flax or chia seeds for extra fiber. Just be aware when selecting a protein powder that a lot of them contain a ton of sugar and preservatives. I love the brand Vega because it doesn't contain any refined sugar. Also, a few of their protein powders contain added probiotics, which are great for your gut health, digestion, and for reducing inflammation. You can order it off Amazon, so I'll put a link below for that as well. So at the end of the day, what we know about eating red meat is that if it's not processed and not charred or burnt, then it's considered safe to consume in moderation, but only up to about 12 ounces per week. And processed meats of all kind should not even be consumed in moderation. And I know it's crazy to think that if we know that a certain type of food can directly cause cancer, it wouldn't be so readily available in grocery stores or restaurants, but unfortunately that's the world we live in. And that's why it's so important for us to be as informed as possible about the types of food that can help our bodies fight off cancer, and so that we can avoid those that cause it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on more cancer fighting tips and advice. Bye for now.